Story time about my worst job seeking experience where I went through 11 interviews at a company and still didn't get the role. Now, I know that sounds crazy, and as somebody that gives a bunch of employment advice online, guys, you should be like, why in the world would you do more than 5 or 6 when you clearly know better? In fact, you advise people, Matt, not to do more than this because the company doesn't know what they're doing. In my defense, I was in a weird position because we had a contract ending at the job that I was at. So I knew I had about 3 months left on that. So I still had a job, I still had money coming in, I had time. And this role was a role going from me being a consultant up to a VP with about $56,000 more than I was currently making. So it was a stretch up. And the fact that they were talking to me, I was like, I really need to give this a chance and see what shakes out. And the fact is, to get my excuses all loaded up and ready, this was in another state, so I knew there was going to be a lot of virtual back and forth. So I was okay with that, right? So this is I won't give the name of the company. I won't blackball them. But the point is that I did my initial screening interview. I did my initial interview with the HR person. Then I did my interview with the person that I would be reporting to. And then I did my interview with the person that was above them. And then I did the interview with the team. So we're at 5, and you're like, that's more than reasonable, right? Okay, then this company at that point offered to fly me out, have me do another series of interviews, meet the team in person, get a feel for everything, make sure this was going to be a good fit. And this company didn't normally hire remote, and because I was in California and this was in Arizona, this would be a remote. So they were still trying to kind of figure that out. They wanted to hire me, they said, but this was a different deal for them. It was a stretch, right? So, okay, so they fly me out, they pay for me to fly out, and I fly out and I do the interviews, and I do 6 interviews in the course of a day. And in their defense, if there's a defense for this, there's only 3 actual interviews with 2 people in them each. And so, some of them were the owners of the organization, some of them were from different verticals, you meet the CFO, you're meeting the C-suite. And I was like, well, it's all in one day, so what's the big deal? But in total, this is 11 people that I interviewed with. Maybe you don't want to call it 11 interviews, you can call it 8, but it was still 11 people that I met with collectively. Okay, so I did all this, and I did as good as I could, but full transparency, I think the interviews were on Tuesday, and on Sunday I got a horrible head cold, so I sounded like this. So it was not at my absolute best in how I looked, felt, anything. I was like the second or third day of being sick is the worst. You're just disgusting. But I did the best I could to hide it. I was like, I can't just you call it sick to your interviews, you're not gonna get the job. So I did the interviews for the role, and I was it went well and everything, but I was still wondering if nobody else is remote at this